About 30 countries might be banned from traveling to the U.S. A doctor and his wife were shot on their doorstep in California. The TSA will start charging $45 for travelers without a real ID. I'm Kat Pockres, and this is News Recap. Security Secretary Kristi Noem is recommending a full travel ban on about 30 countries. In a post on X, Noem wrote that these nations are, quote, flooding our country with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. DHS announced the full list will be released soon. President Donald Trump reposted her message but did not comment. The move comes after the shooting of 2 National Guard members near the White House last week. One died, and the other remains in critical condition. Officials identified the suspect as an Afghan national who entered the U.S. legally in 2021. Trump urged a review of every Afghan who arrived under the Biden administration and called for the removal of anyone who, quote, does not belong here. He also declared plans to permanently pause immigration from what he calls third world countries. This proposed ban follows earlier restrictions, including limits on travelers from 12 countries and a record low refugee admissions cap. The FBI is offering up to $50,000 for information that leads to the capture and conviction of the people responsible for the November 29th mass shooting in Stockton, California. The shooting happened during a toddler's birthday party at a banquet hall with around 100 people. 3 children ages 8, 9, and 14 and 21-year-old were killed. 11 others were injured, with at least 1 in critical condition. Police say the gunfire continued outside. There may have been multiple shooters, and they believe the attack was gang-related.
I don't even know what was going on. Everybody was inside. It was just a misunderstanding. Everybody was getting ready to cut the cake, like I said, and I actually thought it was my balloons popping. It was gunshots.
The suspects are still at large. Authorities are urging anyone with tips, videos, or witness information to come forward. Brian Walshe, a Massachusetts man, is on trial this week for killing and dismembering his wife, Anna Walshe, whose remains have never been found. He has pleaded guilty to lesser charges of misleading police and mishandling a body, but still faces life in prison if convicted of first-degree murder. Prosecutors say Walshe acted after discovering a suspected affair between his wife and another man and aimed to collect a $2.7 million life insurance policy. Investigators also say he researched how to dispose of a body online and bought tools and cleaning supplies linked to hiding her remains. The case has drawn national attention for shocking details, digital evidence, and financial motive. And another trial is getting a lot of attention. Luigi Mangione appeared nervous in a Manhattan courtroom earlier today as a police officer testified about finding over $7,000 on him when he was arrested in Pennsylvania last year. Mangione, 27, is accused of killing a healthcare exec in Manhattan in December 2024. Officer Joseph Dietweiler said Mangione was spotted at a McDonald's carrying both cash and foreign currency. Body cam video showed he first lied about his name, then admitted his real identity. Dietweiler said Mangione's hands were shaking even as he tried to eat breakfast calmly. The cash and Mangione's backpack are now at the center of the legal fight over whether it can be used at trial. Fans filled the courtroom, some crying as the arrest footage played. One man even pocketed $900 for holding a spot in line for supporters. The trial continues with lawyers battling over key evidence in the coming days. U.S. Senator Bernie Moreno is proposing a law that would ban dual citizenship for Americans. His Exclusive Citizenship Act of 2025 would require anyone holding another passport to choose within 1 year which citizenship to keep. Those who don't decide would automatically lose their U.S. citizenship if passed. The law would take effect 180 days later. Moreno, whose family immigrated from Colombia, renounced his Colombian citizenship when he became a U.S. citizen at 18. He called it, quote, one of the greatest honors of my life, and added, if you want to be an American, it's all or nothing. Currently, the U.S. allows dual citizenship, letting people hold passports from multiple countries. Millions of Americans could be affected, including children born abroad or those married to foreign nationals. Critics also warn it could create problems with taxes, security clearances, military service, and international business. Dual citizenship is common, including First Lady Melania Trump and her son Barron. Experts say Moreno's plan could face legal challenges since the Supreme Court has ruled citizenship can't be taken away without voluntary renunciation. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and a top Navy commander are facing questions over a September 2nd strike that killed survivors of a suspected drug smuggling boat in the Caribbean. Under the laws of war, people who are wounded or shipwrecked should be rescued. The White House confirms a second strike took place. Democrats say that could suggest a war crime, while Hegseth defends the operation as legal. When pressed about the orders, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt explained why the operation was carried out.
President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
Lawmakers are asking what Hegseth ordered exactly and why Admiral Bradley followed up after seeing survivors and who was on the boats. Hegseth told reporters he watched the operation live. The administration notes the traffickers were labeled foreign terrorist organizations, though some legal experts question that authority. Congress plans to review the incident and the role of U.S. intelligence in the strikes. The Trump administration fired 8 immigration judges in Manhattan just hours after an Ohio judge filed a discrimination lawsuit. The judges worked at 26 Federal Plaza, a major immigration courthouse. Union officials say the move is part of a broader push that has seen about 100 judges fired and roughly 200 leave under the administration's efficiency efforts. Tanya Niemer, the Ohio judge, claims she was dismissed because of her gender, dual citizenship with Lebanon, and past political activity, and says her firing violated her constitutional rights. She's asking to be reinstated. The federal immigration system faces a backlog of more than 3.4 million cases, and only 11 new permanent judges have been installed despite Congress creating 800 positions. The DOJ maintains it has the authority to terminate judges and says Niemer's dismissal was actually lawful. According to the TSA, starting February 1st, travelers without a real ID will have to pay $45 to fly. Passengers without a real ID, passport, or other approved ID must use a fee-based system called TSA Confirm ID. Travelers answer questions to verify their identity and get a receipt to show at security. The verification lasts 10 days. Then, travelers would need to pay again. The TSA says the fee ensures travelers and not the taxpayers cover the cost, but some experts warn it could hurt lower-income passengers. A real ID is a federally approved driver's license or ID marked with a black or gold star. Passports and other approved IDs don't require the fee. The TSA says that 94% of travelers already have real IDs or accepted ID and encourages anyone without one to update their paperwork at the DMV before flying. A doctor and his wife were shot and killed outside their home in Simi Valley, California. Eric and Vicky Cords were found injured in their driveway around noon. Both suffered multiple gunshot wounds and were rushed to a hospital where they were pronounced dead. Eric Cords was a board-certified radiologist at Adventist Health Simi Valley. Witnesses told police the shooting happened really quickly and the suspect fled in a vehicle. Hours later, police found a burned car and a body over 60 miles away in Chino, California. Officials believe the person may have committed suicide and could be connected to the Simi Valley killings. Sergeant Rick Morton of Simi Valley Police said the couple appears to have been targeted and added the double homicides are rare rare in the city. The motive is still unknown, and police do not believe the public is at risk. Investigators are continuing their work with autopsies and coroner reports underway. Contractors renovating a home in rural Olalla, Washington, made a shocking discovery: a case containing 10 live military-style hand grenades packed with TNT. Workers immediately alerted the homeowners, who were not living in the house at the time. The homeowners called 911, and deputies inspected the case before notifying the state bomb squad. Nearby roads were temporarily closed for safety. Bomb technicians also found blasting caps and other explosive devices. An explosive ordnance team responded and seized the grenades, which authorities believe were a military issue. The homeowners told police they had no idea the explosives were on the property, having recently purchased the home. The Kitsap County Sheriff's Office is now investigating how the grenades ended up there. No injuries were reported. A flight instructor and her student, a U.S. Navy officer who was also a father-to-be, are presumed dead after their small plane crashed into a lake near New Orleans. A small plane, a Cessna 172 Skyhawk, went missing on Monday evening after taking off from Gulfport Biloxi International Airport. Its wreckage was later found, but neither the instructor nor the student has been recovered. The instructor had been teaching at the airport since June 2024 and was known for mentoring women in aviation. The student was training for a commercial pilot's license and was married to a woman 5 months pregnant. Rescue teams, including the Coast Guard and volunteer search groups, combed the area for more than 45 hours but suspended operations due to weather. Officials said the plane likely broke apart on impact. The investigation is ongoing, and authorities continue to review debris to determine the cause of the crash. Costco Wholesale is suing the Trump administration, asking the Court of International Trade to rule all tariffs imposed under Trump's emergency economic powers illegal. The company wants a full refund of duties paid under Trump's order imposing so-called reciprocal tariffs. Lawyers argue the law does not give the president authority to set tariffs. The Supreme Court is reviewing Trump's tariff program, and justices raised tough questions during November arguments. Trump was the first president to use emergency powers to impose import duties. Costco hasn't said exactly how much it paid, but importers have paid nearly $90 billion under the law. Tariffs affected items like fresh fruits from Central and South America, but the company kept prices steady for customers. Other companies, including Revlon, Kawasaki, Bumblebee, and Yokohama Tire, have also filed similar suits. The White House says it looks forward to a speedy and proper resolution from the Supreme Court. And that is all for now. The top stories of the day, no fluff and straight to the point. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. I'm Kat Pokras, and I'll see you next time.